At this point, with the Liberal Party of Canada, there's no question that they are traitors. The same party that's run up a $78 billion deficit, the highest in Canadian history, is telling us that they don't have the staff to have border agents. At the same time as in Minnesota, there was a massive scandal in which hundreds of recent Somali immigrants were found to have been abusing the system to the tune of billions of dollars. It was a multi-year scandal. Ilhan Omar, who's a public official there, his net worth has ballooned from negative 25,000 to in the hundreds of millions of dollars. So Trump is now deporting many people from northern states. ICE is going in, and Canada knows for a fact that there are going to be hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people showing up at the Canadian border. House of Commons, the man in charge of overseeing our border, says that the government of Canada currently does not have the staff to patrol the border on a full-time basis. So you arrive at the Canadian border, you download an app, and you have 45 days to get back to the government of Canada. I kid you not. That is the level of sovereignty that our country has right now. We are not even there is nobody at the border defending our border when we know we're going to have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people looking to enter. The same time as we've had record immigration for the past decade, major negative cultural, economic repercussions. We're allowing the equivalent of British Columbia into the country every 4 years worth of immigrants. You get called a racist, a xenophobe if you say anything about it, but it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The government is not working on behalf of the Canadian people. There's no doubt about it. Carney spent his entire life at Brookfield Asset Management, the WF Davos. They buy into this 100 million people in Canada by 2100 BS. Does not care about the current citizenry of Canada whatsoever. Nobody would argue that the past decade has been good for the country. Majority of our major cities have been absolutely transformed. And now the same government that has run up this record-setting deficit is telling us that we can't afford to have border agents. So essentially the border's wide open. The government of Canada is currently running ads in foreign countries around the world touting Canada's free healthcare. At the same time as the system crumbles in Canada, we cannot, our public services cannot withstand the current demand. The government of Canada is essentially begging people to come over and saying that we offer free healthcare. It is traitorous what they are doing, and we see it time and time again. And the idea that the government of Canada cannot afford to have agents at the border, it's so laughable that they think that anybody would ever even believe that. It's so ridiculously untrue. These guys do not care. If they gave a shit about this country, they would recognize the fact that it's embarrassing that in our major city, in Ottawa, you walk 2 blocks east of the Parliament building and there's 10 straight blocks of heavy crack smoking. How can you possibly have that in your capital city? It's because these people don't care. You think Mark Carney gives a damn? He gets his motorcade in, motorcade out. He does not care about the day-to-day reality in our city. And having hundreds of thousands Somalis, Afghanis pouring into the country, this guy does not give a damn. This guy's a global elitist. He spends his entire life outside of the country. The vast majority of these senior liberal officials don't actually live in neighborhoods. They see the ramifications of the policies that they enact. If there was a diversion, if there was a way to send them into their neighborhoods, many of these newly arrived Canadians, I can guarantee you with 100% certainty, there would be a total halt on immigration in about 2 seconds if that were the case. But of course it's not. So the governments of Canada, you show up at the border right now, and Americans know this. Americans are sharing this on their own social media. You can now show up at the Canadian border, download an app, and just enter the country, and you have 45 days to get back. It's that easy to enter into Canada. So can you imagine? You should see how many people are crossing the Canadian border, quote unquote, illegally right now. But it's not illegally, it's legally, because the government of Canada has thrown away our sovereignty. It's what they've done. It's what they've done, but it's more extreme. It's more extreme right now than it's ever been, because we know how many people are trying to enter the country. Due to the fact that there have been all these scandals, also the fact that US aid got shut down. So billions of dollars that were being funneled to these NGOs. Another kind of way to scam the system got shut down when US aid got shut down. So we know there's so many people looking to enter the country. I'm not saying anything the vast majority of Canadians don't know any day when they walk down the street, walk around, certainly in major cities, how much the country has changed. It's extreme, and it just shows the lack of care that our government has, the fact that they're so careless with an area so close to you can see the Parliament buildings from here, and 1 block away on Rideau, there's open crack smoking for about a 10-block radius. If a police officer wanted to stop anywhere, they could extremely quickly arrest pretty much anybody. And it's because our government wastes so much money on totally meaningless BS, doesn't focus on the stuff that matters, and in many cases actually lets criminals out incredibly easily. How many times have we read Liberal lax on crime policies, senior police officials talking about how it's nearly impossible to lock somebody up because the bail laws in Canada are so lax. Bill C-75 made it so that the government of Canada has to allow somebody out on bail. The onus is on the prosecution to prove why they shouldn't be allowed out. Which is why you see so many criminals out on the streets in Canada so quickly reoffending. Meanwhile, they want to go after political opponents with bills like C-8 and C-9. So we have to demand that close the damn border, hire 1,000 border agents. Those 1,000 RCMP officers you've announced like 8 times now, Mark Carney, send them down to the border. Please like, share, subscribe, join, become a member, donate, grab some gear. Really appreciate everybody's support.